regular board meetings. We start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Egan, would you care to start us off?
Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will the clerk take roll call attendance, please?
Commissioner Egan.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Commissioner Savoy.
Here.
And Chairman Shackleton.
Here. We have item number 4 is additions, deletions, and agenda approval. Approval as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made and supported that we approve the agenda as submitted. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Well, good evening, everybody. I don't think I've seen this many people since people thought we were going to ban trapping in Chippewa County. But it's nice to have so many people with us. Come anytime. We're always happy to have public here. We're going to start off the evening. We have a life-saving award that I'm going to invite the sheriff and deputy postman up, I think. Are you coming up, Greg, or no? Yeah. And so, Sheriff, if you want to start off, we've got, you can tell the story, and we have some certificates of recognition that we would like to hand out.
All right. Well, for those of you here for the life-saving award presentation, I would like to welcome you. It's not often we see such a heroic act, which occurred back in December 4th, 2016. We have with us tonight, I believe they're all three here, 3 gentlemen who saved a man from drowning who had fallen into the icy waters. The Chippewa County Sheriff's Office wanted to honor these heroes, and that is why we're here tonight. I'd like to turn the presentation over to Under Sheriff Greg Postma and Chairman Scott Shackleton, as we have some items.
Thank you. I'd like to take just a minute to thank the board for taking the time to allow this to happen, and also recognizing the 3 gentlemen that we are going to speak up tonight. I think it's very important for that. It doesn't happen very often in a lot of places, and I want to make sure that for this instance they get some recognition. The incident that Sheriff Bittner has just referenced occurred in Chippewa County on December 4, 2016 on the St. Mary's River near Conley's Point. As he mentioned, it is not often that incidents such as this one describe below turn out the way that this one did. If it had not been for the 3 men that would be standing before you momentarily, I firmly believe this would have become a recovery mission rather than an act of selfless heroism. On this date, law enforcement was dispatched to reports of a subject who had been thrown from his watercraft and into the water. The weather on this day was less than favorable. Heavy wind gusts produced at least 3-foot rollers. At times, snow and sleet produced blizzard-like conditions, hampering even the most experienced boaters. At approximately 12:30 hours, Mr. Greg Roberts was tossed from his vessel while operating his boat in the St. Mary's River system. After entering the frigid water with no life vest, his cold weather clothing quickly became soaked and heavy. While speaking with Mr. Roberts, I learned how hopeless his situation had instantly become. At the same time, another vessel, captained by Douglas Warren of Gaylord, Michigan, was one of very few people fishing on the river that day. Along with him were 2 other men also from Gaylord, a Spencer Ross and a David Cooks. While fishing, Warren noticed a boat spinning in the river about a half mile from his location. Having seen this before, he realized there was probably no one driving the boat. He looked through his binoculars to confirm this. He immediately pointed his boat in that direction. As the 3 men neared the spinning boat, they noticed a male subject in the water. Mr. Roberts at this time was nearing complete exhaustion. The 3 men were able to pull him from the icy water with hardly any time to spare at all. They placed a 911 call on by dispatchers of the situation and did then rendezvous with EMS while attempting to warn Mr. Roberts. There is no doubt that the actions performed by Mr. Douglas Warren, Mr. Spencer Ross, and Mr. David Cooks on the St. Mary's River that fateful day saved the life of Mr. Greg Roberts. Had they not been at the right place at the right time, having the selfless courage that they did, the story would have ended differently. In our line of work, we see this type of selflessness from our fellow officers routinely. As a result, we don't immediately recognize it when strangers put themselves in harm's way to save the life of another. It is refreshing and a great reminder to all of us that there are people here who will and do immediately stop and drop what they are doing, regardless of the cost, and race to the aid of those in need. These awards are meant to act as a token of the appreciation for the actions performed that day. For their service that day, they have earned the respect, admiration, and gratitude of our sheriff's department. At this time, I would like those three gentlemen to stand up and come forward to receive those, and I believe, I don't know if you have anything further,
Yeah.
Scott.
Mine are over here.
Both of these awards, give a brief description of what I just read to you. And then they're slightly worded a little bit different because we did have two different takes on them. So each one of you will receive 2 awards. And again, I would like to thank each and every one of you. Douglas?
Yep,
Thank you very much for what you did.
absolutely.
Go ahead and do yours, and I'll do mine.
Spencer? Thank you again for the act that you performed that day. And David? Same thing for you. Very much appreciated.
Okay, thank you. It's from the, Greg's gonna steal my thunder here.
I'm the little guy up here.
Stay up here, Greg. Come on right over here. That's from the Sheriff's Department. The County Board of Commissioners also wanted to give you a life-saving award. We have all the information on here, just like we've already gone over, so I won't go over all the information again. But on behalf of the people of Chippewa County, we want to thank you guys for stepping right in and saving the day, so thank you.
No, I do too.
Yeah. Doug?
Great, thank you, sir, appreciate it.
And Spencer? Hope you guys got some space on your walls. And David. Thank you. All right. So how about a hand for these guys?
How hopeless. You know, I was calm and relaxed and assessed the situation. I was gonna die. And I didn't, I'm not afraid of dying, but my biggest fear in life was drowning. And at the last moment, I was exhausted. I looked up and I thought I saw a boat coming. I went underwater with sure, and I looked up. And sure it was really coming up. I saw a hand up like this. I have a hard time talking about it, but from total despair, when I saw that, I knew I was arrested. It was these guys.
Thank you, guys.
We're gonna do a photo. Why don't we get, you 3 guys and Greg in the front, and then if the rest of the commission wants to come on the back.
It's gonna be like 3 giants from a
That's all right, that's all right. They were giants for you. So why don't you do that, and then the sheriffs get in, and if any of the commissioners wanna come down and hop in the back, that's fine, represent us. All right.
Makeup
More
person,
hands
is there
up.
makeup person out there?
Come on, Mike, smile. Yeah, a little more in your head. A little more to your right, Chaplain.
Little better
Thank
looking.
you, fellas.
Little better looking.
Let that bear witness, I know my right from my left. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Doug?
Yep, absolutely.
Doug?
Gas station.
Yeah. How you doing? Nice to see you, yeah.
It's 99
Real
cents.
proud of you.
Yeah. Right place at the right time, that's a lot of it.
You got a new camera, they want to get a picture of him, right?
Okay, we have a fairly lengthy agenda tonight. You're welcome to stay, anybody who wants to, but if you came here for this, we understand if you wanna go. And, this would be your opportunity to go ahead and hit the door. But it's a really interesting agenda. So we'll take a couple minute break here and let you folks,
Interesting is a
gather your
relative
stuff up.
term, I think.
What's that?
Interesting is a relative term.
Yeah.
So I live in the small port.
That was special, and I'm glad got a chance to do that. We have item number 6, this is the approval of the county board minutes. We have 2 of them. Regular board, December 19th, 2016. Organizational meeting board minutes of January 2nd, 2017.
I move approval of the minutes as presented.
Motion made to approve both those minutes. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to correspondence received in the clerk's office. That is on page 30. We have your usual variety of notices and communications.
I move we forward these to the appropriate places.
I'll support.
Motion made and supported that we acknowledge and support, or rather forward the correspondence as appropriate. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We come to the portion of our agenda that is public comments. If you would like to make a public comment this evening, feel free to come up to that podium one at a time, well, 2 at a time or one, I don't know. And just start off by just stating your name, if you would, just so we know who we're hearing from.
Mike Bittner.
We're gonna start with the sheriff.
Just real quick, I know there was a question or two about a certain grant and the sheriff's app that I'm putting in for. The question on the annual fee is if I can't come up with some way, either the grant or some other way to pay for it, it's an annual thing that I would have to renew. So we're not locked into 2-5 years. I called the owner himself this afternoon and talked to him, so that's all I had, so.
Thank you, Sheriff.
All right.
Next. I dare you to be that brief. Just kidding, take your time.
My name is Sherilyn Scott, and I reside on Sugar Island, in Sugar Island Township. And I was away for part of the winter and came home to have new neighbors, which was approximately 20 dogs. I live right next door to them. We voiced some concerns to people because I was told they were wolf dogs, so my concern was, are they going to be a danger to me? Nobody could answer me that. I asked about rules and regulations in regards to so many dogs. Our township doesn't really have anything in place. The county doesn't really have anything in place. Yet you cite when you have to have your tags and your shots for your dogs, you follow the laws of the state of Michigan. So when I don't get answers from people that are local, I start looking, okay, what are the laws of the state of Michigan state if you have more than 3 dogs, you have to have a kennel. State you're not allowed to have wolf dogs or even say you have wolf dogs, and yet he said that, and I have a piece out of the local newspaper where he says that they are wolf dogs. The other concern that myself and my neighbors have is the groundwater has an E. coli level of 8 times what is acceptable, and that's per our health department. We presented this case to the sheriff. There was an incident when I was gone. They threatened to kill me, and somebody said basically, tell me where she lives and we'll take care of her, when it wasn't me who was the person that talked to somebody who was caring for the dogs. I reported it to the state police. I've talked to several members in business here, even got to the prosecuting attorney, and he has denied the case. My concern is, this gentleman lives close to me, he doesn't really live there. He has a tent there, yet he's not following any of the township regulations as far as having potable water. He doesn't have adequate housing for his dogs, and that's per the state of Michigan Animal Act of 1919. And a couple of them have died this year because we think they aren't taken care of properly. I'm just gonna state that even though the prosecutors denied it, I am not letting this drop. I think that there's an issue there, and I think there's gonna be more problems with it. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else care to speak under public comment?
My name, excuse me, is Julie Wilson. I'm a retired Navy officer, Nurse Corps. And I came back to live on Sugar Island because I went to school here. Kept the place. East Shore Drive is a very quiet place to live. I'm a cancer survivor, had cancer the same time as my husband. And I came back here in 2012, I believe, or 13. And, you know, I've had everything nasty happen to me, and I'm a law-abiding citizen. But we do not get any help from our city, our township board, and I really think they lack the knowledge. And, you know, if you read it and keep rereading it, yes. So there's gotta be something that we can do that is on our side. I did call Miss Henderson last July about these animals, and I have never been so rudely treated by a public servant. A public servant. And we try to get anything done, and it just seems that it's passed out. And we are just frustrated with the fact that we live by the law, we pay our taxes. That gentleman, I believe, with the dogs, does not even own the place. It's like a soap opera gone bad, and we can't seem to find the right people to help us out, or that want to do anything. So we pay our taxes, but I don't feel we get the recognition we believe we deserve. We come over here and they say, oh, Sugar Island. You know, if you look at Sugar Island, we probably have the highest tax base in the area. You take a boat around the island and you'll see very, very nice homes. So my feeling is that if it's not in your backyard, you don't care. And I was probably one of those people too. It's not in my backyard, but I cannot walk my dogs down the road on a leash because it sets off those dogs. And it is polluted. And the couple that live right below there have a wellhead that stream runs off into. The E. coli level is 2,419. It doesn't even read after that. So, and it's like, well, you know, and granted, the health department did cite them, but who do you cite? If she's not there, he'll tell you he lives there, he makes a really good show of it, stands out in the road with a shovel, and, you know, it's like, please, what happens when my friends are about all I have left in my family, and they do not need to be treated like they're secondhand citizens. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. We're still under public comment. Would anybody else like to speak?
Good evening, Christina Dennison with the Chippewa Mackinac Conservation District. Just here actually to say thank you to you all. I am actually, unfortunately, leaving the area. I have taken a job with the Department of Natural Resources in Minnesota, my home state. So we'll be headed that way. But I am here to introduce you to my replacement, Mike McCarthy, who has been our MEP technician, our agriculture technician with the Conservation District for the last 3.5 years. He's a Lake State grad. He's from downstate originally, but obviously loves the area. So we're happy to have him on board. We're working on the transition, and we look forward to working and continuing a smooth transition with you guys. And I don't know if you want to say a few words or hello, or
I'm just excited to hit the ground running, so.
That's all. Just wanted to let you know. And
Well, you'll be missed. Thank you.
Yep.
And welcome.
Thanks.
Anyone else under public comment? Would you care to speak? Last chance. Okay. Just a quick note on public comment. We listen to what you say. We don't get into a dialogue because this is your time. So this is your time to come up and speak, and you don't have to be challenged or anything else. But that's how we do it. We let you speak and we listen. So and we heard you. We'll go to Administrator's report. Mr. German.
You'll see the various ongoing reports there, as well as a new resolution. And the only thing I have to add is that for an update on the case has been, held in abeyance right now, and they are waiting for the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court, to take the matter up in Escanaba versus Menards. And so apparently until that happens, although we're still getting background information, there's not much we can do until that happens. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we move on to old business then. Our first item of old business, well, they are both appointments. And the first one is the appointment to War Memorial Hospital Board. The second one is Hiawatha Behavioral Health. Now, the circumstances of the first one was the commission did send over a candidate who did not receive the necessary support from the hospital nomination committee, and they requested another candidate. The second one is that Commissioner Egan who has resigned from Hiawatha Behavioral Health, and so we need to fill that vacancy. We did solicit applications for appointments to both of these boards for last month. So I would have to say that our pool of applications is certainly current, because we got them and made appointments last month. So I would suggest that we see if we have 3 votes in both these cases, and see if we can move on and dispense with these appointments.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
I guess I'm asking about the hospital board appointment now as to the rationale that the candidate that we sent over is refused. Is there any explanation given as to why ex-Commissioner Johnson was not acceptable?
What I can tell you is that the nomination committee is separate from the Board of Trustees, and I certainly did not have any input, and nor did I hear from the committee exactly what the rationale was, but I know that I didn't even know what the vote was. All I know is that he did not receive the necessary support in order for it to proceed to the full board.
I guess in that case, I would hope that the hospital would provide us with some guidance as to what they're looking for, so that if somebody doesn't meet that qualification or those requirements or suggestions or whatever, that we wouldn't send them over. It would be could be written up in the application, or when they take applications, that they would be expected to meet these certain criteria. I guess it's my understanding this is the first time we've had a person who was denied acceptance by the hospital board. And I've been here 8 years, and we've made appointments at various times, and I've never heard of it before, and yet they do it, and no explanation. I guess I would have thought they could have at least said, okay, he's not tall enough, or he doesn't shave, or whatever. But just something. I guess I would expect that if they turned out our next person, that they send back some kind of a note saying that, again, he's not tall enough, or he doesn't shave right, or whatever.
Commissioner Egan.
My concern is, the majority sent who they believe to be the best candidate for the job over to there. It got kicked back. So now we're sending what the board sees as the second best candidate. So why are we not, widening the pool or deepening the pool and casting the net again to see if maybe there isn't somebody else that's maybe better suited or more acceptable to the board as a candidate?
Go ahead.
And part of me wants to say we'll send Commissioner back a second time. I think maybe going forward then, if this is the way it's going to be, then the hospital board needs to say, you know what, we looked at these, and these are the 3 that we find acceptable, so we don't waste our time and their time. If they don't trust our judgment, so be it. That's fine. That's obviously they have that right, which they've shown here. Because I know all of these men except Mr. White, and they're all good men, but I feel the same way about former Commissioner Johnston, and that got kicked into the ditch, which I'm not happy about. Thanks for making me smile, though, Commissioner McLean. I appreciate that. But let's go forward. If you could make this happen, I don't know if
I
it
can
would be the chair or the administrator that they get the list. Maybe do these guys a month earlier, and then have them kick back 3 people that they find that they don't find objectionable for whatever reason, and then we know that whoever we approve is good for them and good for us, and we don't have to ruffle feathers, especially of good people who are willing to continue to serve the people of Chippewa County.
Well, and again, as has been noted, this has not happened in the past, so it's not a trend or a problem. It is a occurrence that has happened this one time, and we do have a list of candidates, and I would take issue with saying we're going to send over the second best. I mean, what the point is that what we sent the first time was someone who got 3 votes, and I think all the candidates who put their names in are certainly qualified and are good candidates. The candidates we have in front of us were Connor Egan, who his was late, but we did accept it. Ron Meister, Brad Ormsby, Ted Pastula, and Kevin White. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think we should proceed with a vote. And I would ask the clerk to call a roll call vote on these candidates for appointment.
I think Commissioner Savoy had a comment.
Oh, Commissioner Savoy?
Well, I think we should move forward and get this appointment over with. It's February, the applications are only a month old, and let's just get it over with.
Thank you, I'm sorry, I missed you. Okay, so will the clerk please call roll call vote?
Commissioner Egan,
Ronald Meister.
Commissioner Martin,
Ted Postule?
Commissioner McLean,
Brad Ormsby?
Commissioner Savoy,
Ted Postula.
and Chairman Shackleton.
And I'll vote for Ted Pastula. So that puts Ted Pastula on the board. We thank him and all the other people who put their names in for the willingness to serve. We move to behavioral health. This is Hiawatha Behavioral Health. We have 3 current applicants, Kathy Carnes, Jim Moore, and Robin Lynn Savoy. And I'll say right at the beginning, again, thank you to people who are willing to throw their hats in and serve their community. It's, we need people like this to step forward and be willing to serve. So we're very grateful for that. Yes, go ahead.
This, I've followed Hiawatha Behavioral Health for years now, had many dealings with them. And the way that they structure their board is that they can have 4 county commissioners. And there's been an agreement amongst the counties that since Chippewa County was the largest county, that we would have 2 commissioners and each of the other 2 counties would have 1. And we've been able to do that, I don't know, probably 15, 20 years since they've been in business. And Commissioner Egan has resigned from that. And I can't serve on Hiawatha Behavioral Health. But I would have liked to seen another commissioner put in that position. Commissioners have a lot of influence on the board. We're giving up that commission seat, possibility of a commission seat there. I just wanted to note that at this point.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, and I think again, when we had 7 members on our board, it was easier to come up with folks that had the time and inclination to serve on that board. But we do have 3 applicants, Kathy Carnes, Jim Moore, and Robin Lynn Savoy. And I would ask the clerk to take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Egan,
Kathy Carnes.
Commissioner Martin,
Jim Moore?
Commissioner McLean,
Jim Moore.
Commissioner Savoy,
Jim Moore.
and Chairman Shackleton.
I'll vote for Jim Moore as well, and he is confirmed as the member on Hiawatha Behavioral Health. So, again, thanks to everybody else. We move to new business. Our first is Central Dispatch Board of Directors appointment, one needed for each. This is on page 59. Let me turn to that. Administrator German, can you give me a little help here? What are we doing here? Rick Kelly.
This is a result of Missy providing some feedback after we eliminated the OES board. She got into a little bit more detail about how these picks are supposed to be done through the bylaws. And to do it right, we need to take one person from each of these local police agency, emergency medical units, and a fire department. And if I understand it correct, Missy, that you only have one person for the first two slots, but on the third slot, you do have three possible candidates.
Correct. Correct. We had one, Chief Robert Marchand, Sioux Tribe, was the only chief that expressed interest for the chief of police position. For the following, for Kinross PD, Bay Mills, or Sioux Tribe, the city obviously has representation, as does the state and county. We have one EMS interest, and then three firefighters expressed interest.
Okay, so let me suggest to the commission this. Let's entertain a motion to make the appointment on the first two, and then we'll get to the third one where we need to vote, and then we can go on to select one of those members.
I have no problem with what you procedure. I have a question because I've served on the OES 911 board for 8 years now. And now that it's OES is no longer part of it, I'm no longer part of that board, but that's okay, no big deal. But I have a question of Missy. Are these all the members of the board, or are there other members?
There's other members by statute, like the sheriff is on there by statute. The 911 plan lays out the members, or who's on the board, but these positions are nominated by the county board, and they've not been nominated by the county board, they've not changed. So once we started reviewing the bylaws, we saw that these positions, according to the bylaws, needed to be nominated by the county board on the odd years, which is this year. So we're a little late, but that's how that all came out.
So how many members will be on the new 911 board?
I think there's gonna be 11 total.
Okay. I was concerned because there were about 11, 12
Yeah,
members.
it's
that
a big
came.
board.
And I thought, golly, we're going down to 3 people?
Yeah.
No, these are just the 3 positions that are nominated by the county board.
Thank you.
It's a big board, and it should be, because we have representation from the county from lots of different agencies. So, would anybody be interested in making that motion?
I'll make motion. So
Order.
did we go ahead and approve the first two?
That's what we're doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a motion to approve the first 2 slots. That would be Chief Robert Marchand and Renee Gray to fill these 2 slots. And we have a motion on the floor that's supported. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Now we get to one last one here that is a representative from Chippewa County Fire Departments as nominated by the various county departments and approved by the Board of Commissioners. We have Chief Jim Miller from Pickford Fire Department, firefighter Lyle Harder from Red Yard Fire Department, and Chief Dan Wilcox from Bay Mills Fire Department. And I think we're gonna just have to vote just like we do for other positions. I'm not sure if you're quite ready for that, Kathy, but we do have biographies attached from each of them. Do you gentlemen feel like you wanna take a minute to review the biographies, or do you feel comfortable?
I just wanna mention that, again, I've been there 8 years, and Dan Wilcox has been there since that 6th, 2017, the association endorsed his reappointment to the board. So I just want to mention that.
So that's at least one feather in his cap, right?
Yep, but he's been there a long time, and he's,
And I'll be honest, I don't really know these guys very well, so I'm sure any one of them would be fine.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be a little hard for me to pick one. Anyone else have anything to throw out there? No? Kathy, I think, would you go ahead and call the commissioners by name and get a vote for them on a roll call?
Commissioner Egan,
Jim Miller.
Commissioner Martin,
Dan Wilcox?
Commissioner McLean,
Dan Wilcox.
Commissioner Savoy,
And Wilcox.
and Chairman Shackleton.
Well, there you go. Chief Dan Wilcox already has 3, so I'll make it 4. And congratulations, Mr. Wilcox, as well as Chief Marchand and Renee Gray. Thank you for your service. We move to the UP Energy Work Group appointment. This is on page 66. There is a request from, let's see here. The UPCAP?
Upcap.
Request from UPCAP for an appointee to the UP Energy Work Group. As I understand it, Commissioner McLean has graciously consented to that appointment, and I believe that is a chair appointment, although you folks can override it if you want. But if you override it, you gotta do it. So I would, am I correct, that's a chair appointment? You know?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll appoint Don McLean as the representative to the UP Energy Work Group appointment notice. Thank you for your service, sir.
Well, I want to thank you because I've already been to one meeting last Friday in the storm. Drove to Escanaba.
Well done. Thank you. We move to standing committee reports. Go to Personnel, Equalization, Transportation, Health and Human Services. That is on page 67. Commissioner Egan is the chair, and your report, sir.
All right, hold on, I gotta find the page. 67. All right. This one's gonna be a short one compared to finance. The regular meeting of the Personnel Equalization, Apportionment, Transportation, Health and Social Services Committee met on January 17th, 2017. Members present were Connor Egan, Scott Shackleton, and Robert Savoy. Members absent were none. Others present, Kelly Church, Jim German, and Rob Stratton. There were no additions or deletions to the agenda. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Savoy to approve the agenda as presented. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support?
Motion made and supported that we authorize $10,000 to hire a special prosecutor to close the conflict cases left open. I'm on the right one,
We're
right?
not there yet.
What the heck,
We
where'd you
don't need
go?
a motion on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
That
Oh.
was- that's
Yeah,
interim.
yeah, yeah.
I was
Public
reading
comment.
ahead and you made a motion, so I thought you mustn't be there.
Sorry, that was my bad, folks.
And I'm trying to stay ahead, so I know
Thank you.
what's coming next.
So the first agenda item is the special prosecutor. The committee received notice that the county may need to hire a special prosecutor to clear up a conflict case due to the public defender being elected to the prosecutor. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to authorize $10,000 to hire a special prosecutor to close the conflict cases left open. The agreement for the special prosecutor should include the pay structure and billing requirements for cases. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support.
Now we have a motion made and supported to hire a special prosecutor to close the conflict cases left open because the public defender is the elected prosecutor, and that created conflicts. We have a motion that's supported. Do we have any comment or questions?
Commissioners, thanks to the help of Mr. Stratton, I believe our original numbers were like 225 cases, then they went to 85. Now I believe they're down to somewhere around 25 or 30. This is both on some of his due diligence to have other counties helping us, as well as the Attorney General. And that number should wind up significantly under $10,000.
Right, and just, it was my understanding in that meeting that $10,000 was not gonna be what was paid, but that was the cap, that we were setting at the time, so we were shooting for a lot less, and it's looking like it's gonna be that way.
All right. Well, thank you to those involved in getting those conflict numbers down. It takes some cooperation that we had discussed during this meeting in order to do that. I'm glad to hear it. Commissioner McLean.
Now, the next paragraph talks about that we're not going to fill the assistant public defender position. I think since, I feel a little apprehensive about not having enough staff in the public defender's office because we've had them fall back before, and it's not a good thing. So I would hope that that is not tied into this motion.
Well, I think of the.
Mr. Chair.
I don't
Yes.
want to be an understanding.
Jim.
The person, the issues were resolved in the public defender's office, both to my satisfaction, to the public defender's satisfaction, and I believe to the prosecutor's satisfaction that there is no conflict left, and therefore we went ahead with the interviews, and the new person has been hired, and they will be on board, February 21st.
I read that somewhere in there, but I
Right.
came across this and it said this conflicts with.
There you go.
this.
That addresses your concern.
Okay, thank you.
So we do still have a motion on the floor to authorize up to $10,000 for legal costs to close any conflict cases that are left open. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, we move on to the public defender recommendation. Administrator German explained that there was a problem that the state had been notified about in regard to conflict cases. Further explained until the issue was resolved, he would not be hiring an assistant public defender, and that the money would go to contract attorneys on a rotating basis. No action was taken. Chippewa County Health Department update. The committee was updated on the administration strategy on various health department issues. Hopefully a more detailed report will be completed by coming months. No action was taken. Chippewa County Health Department gift policy. The committee was updated. The current gift policy for Chippewa County Health Department. It was discussed about the relationships between the caregiver and the patient, and if small gift cards and/or handmade items should be able to be accepted. Current policy would have the issue come before the commission. The idea of the health officer making the decision on if the caregiver can keep the gift was discussed. It was moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner Shackleton to change the Chippewa County Health Department Policy 3.03.011, gifts to employees, non-solicitation. See attached on a voice vote. That motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we change that policy. Any discussion?
I always have a question. I just want to mention that in a situation with another agency where they have caregivers going into the home in another county, they really ran afoul of this kind of thing because they didn't have a policy like this. And it ended up, you have a vulnerable senior citizen, and you have somebody coming in to help them, and there can be, strong relationships and appreciation expressed. And the situation that I heard of in another county, the people deeded their home. She was the last, her husband had died, she deeded the home and property, which was lakefront property and very expensive, to the caregiver. And there not being any policy, and that just reeked of being wrong. So I appreciate that we have this, but there are people out there who will take advantage of our senior citizens, and I'm one of those senior citizens.
You're gonna deed your property over to
Nope,
your chair?
my son's already got it locked
Okay.
up.
Anyone else? All in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next up, Chippewa County Health Department Pink Ribbon Policy. Donations out of the Pink Ribbon Fund at Chippewa County Health Department were discussed. It was thought that these donations that help people with related expenses for different type of cancer should come before the Board of Commissioners. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to have all Pink Ribbon requests come before the county board on a voice vote. That motion carried, and I would so move.
The, okay, we have a motion made and supported, so we're on discussion. Didn't we, Administrator German, I thought that it was under $500, you're gonna work out a policy with them?
Yeah.
That's kinda how it started out, and then through our last conversations with the health department, it just decided that everything would come to the board.
It'd be easier to just do it.
Yeah.
Well, we can go ahead and adopt this, and we can certainly change it in the coming months if we figure a better way to do it. But,
I guess I have.
we do have one coming up.
I have a problem with that because our meetings are public here, you know.
Oh, the names aren't mentioned.
Okay,
Names are not
okay,
mentioned.
as long as confidentiality.
People's privacy is certainly respected.
Okay.
It's because we have one coming up. Isn't there one in the finance minutes? We'll have one
Yes, there
coming up
is.
shortly. And we had talked about, that if they were routine and under $500, maybe the administrator could work out a policy, with the health department and, so we weren't approving every single $85, transaction. You wanna go ahead and approve this for now and then look at revising it?
Let's do it that way.
Alright, so we have a vote, we have a motion on the floor with support. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee chair comments, committee and no additional comments. It was moved by Commissioner Savoy, seconded by Commissioner Shackleton to adjourn the meeting on a voice vote. That motion carried. Chairperson Egan declared the meeting adjourned at 2:30 PM. Move to accept the minutes as presented. Sorry.
That's all right. Motion made by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner McLean, that the minutes of personnel equalization, apportionment, transportation, health, social services, that meeting took place on January 17th, 2017, and the motion is to approve and accept the minutes. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to, this one's not gonna be fast. We move to finance, claims, and accounts. That was a meeting we had last Thursday. It was at least 2.5 hours. And Commissioner Martin is the chair, and we're gonna start in those minutes now.
Thank you, Chair. A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Finance, Claims, and Accounts Committee was held on Thursday, February 9th, 2017, at the Chippewa County Courthouse in Sioux, Michigan. Called the meeting to order at 5:30 with a quorum present. Commissioner Shackleton, Commissioner McLean, Commissioner Egan, and Commissioner Savoy were also there. There were no absentees. Others present: Jim German, Karen Senkus, Lana Forrest, Margie Hank, Chuck Leinart, Michelle Robbins, Tina Ojala, Kathy Carnes, Holly Kibble, Don Riley, Sharon Kennedy, Christine Lundquist, and Kelly Church. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Savoy to approve the agenda as presented. That motion did carry. There was no public comment. We did receive an investment report, monthly travel report, visa statement, and the annual animal shelter spay and neuter assistance program that's currently being privately funded through donations. Moving to the agenda, we discussed and quickly approved a senior services program millage renewal of, I thought it was like 4.994 mils, which was the max allowed, and keep it in the form of a renewal, which is what we wanted. Consequently, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to approve the language as follows by the Senior Service and Programs Millage Renewal proposal to be voted on August 1st, 2017. Shall the expired previous voted increase in the tax limitation imposed in Article 9, Section 6 of the Michigan Constitution on general ad valorem taxes within Chippewa County, Michigan of 0.5 mil, that is 50 cents per one, that's a misprint, per $1,000 of taxable value, which was reduced to 0.4994 mils by the required millage rollback, be renewed at 0.4994 mils, that is 49.94 cents per $1,000 of taxable value for a period of 4 years beginning 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, inclusive for the purpose of providing operating funds to continue to enhance Chippewa County Community Actions Agency meals and Chippewa County Community Action Agency senior services in Chippewa County, thereby raising in the first year, that is 2017, AB estimates of $551,000. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
We have a motion that is made and supported to place the renewal on the August ballot of the Senior Services and Meals on Wheels. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. And just before you go on, Commissioner Martin, the paragraph before that, you went over and we didn't take action on it, and we don't need to take action on it, but I did just want to mention it. There's a part there that we talked about, the Animal Shelter Spay and Neuter Assistance Program. That's actually kind of a big deal. They are going to have, I think, $30,000 or $35,000. 30 what? 35. $35,000 that is going to assist people in getting their cat or dog spayed or neutered throughout Chippewa County. And they'll have this program, you come apply to participate in it, and it's just a good thing for our community, and I'm just really pleased that the animal shelter is doing that with donations. I wanted to make sure we recognize that. Back to you.
Thank you, Chair. Health Department write-offs. Committee had previously directed Administrator, along with authorizing additional hours for Chuck Leonard, to review and reconcile the Health Department accounts receivable anticipated write-offs. The committee was presented with an overview of the write-offs, which range over a 9-year period, with the majority of these write-offs, just over 3/4, being in fiscal year 2014 and 2015. The main reason for write-offs due to claims being denied because of wrong physician number, wrong primary insurance originally billed, payer wasn't mapped correctly in Carefax to network, Medicare billing requests, Q codes, and on hospice Medicare, hospice Medicaid, home health Medicare, home health Blue Cross Blue Shield. There were adjustments by Carefax, which could not be followed, so it wasn't necessarily removed, resulting in another $224,000 in adjustments, plus long story short, the write-offs are going to be $1,074,849. There was a long discussion by all the commissioners with the health department's administrative staff, trying to get to the bottom of this, and moving forward, we should get some monies back, but we're going to really push forward. Chuck Leonard also is going to follow up and help with this, even though he's busy with the tax season. Consequently, it's moved by Commissioner Shackleton after all this discussion, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the Health Department write-offs and adjustments as presented, totaling $1,074,849 as follows. Write-offs and reconciliation worksheets of $671,725.49. Carefax adjustments of $224,451.74. Adjustment to decrease the ARGL balance as of 9/30/16 of $132,773.73. Possible write-offs from existing Carefax receivables of $45,894.04, for a total amount of write-offs and adjustments as of September 30th, 2016 is, again, that figure of $1,074,849. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would regretfully so move.
Support. Motion made and supported. Discussion. Commissioner?
I just want to state publicly that with this situation, which is we were unaware of, I guess prompted the dissolving of the health department and the
Board.
Health board, yeah, the health board, health department board, and the county commission then is now taking a more active role in overseeing what's being done there. And this is a huge amount of money coming out of our budget, and we all know that it shouldn't have happened. There were numbers of reasons it happened, but we have to face facts that that's it, and you have to pay. But again, I think it was a surprise, but we made the change the Health Department Board. And I think that we have a number of things going on now that will bring this back in line and put us in a more positive place. It'd be nice if we could get the money back, but some of it we may get back, but not very much.
Anyone else?
Well, we just know it's not gonna happen again.
You know, we've been talking about and learning about and figuring this out for about the last 3-4 months, and I feel like I'm talked out, you know, but the reality is this was came as a shock, as a surprise, and I think the commission and our administrative staff, working with the county health department staff, are taking the right steps in going forward. And where the health department has always been treated, as far as long as I know, as sort of an independent little entity over there that ran their own operation, that's not how it is anymore. They're now brought into the county like any other department. And we have a department head, we have oversight, it's gonna work differently, and I think work a lot better. So there's blame to go all around. People that are, some of people in this room, some of the people who no longer work for the health department. But the system is either fixed now or nearly fixed, we believe. And moving forward, we just wanna make sure that we are able to provide as many health services to our county residents as we can afford to. There are no plans right now on changing any of the services. We plan on continuing all services until such time that we're just proven that we can't. And I don't think that's gonna happen. I think we're gonna be able to continue the services that we provide. So I had heard rumors in the past couple months that, I hear the health department's no longer gonna do this, or no longer do that. Not true. At this point, all services are being maintained, and we hope to make that to be indefinite. So with that little talk, we do have the motion on the floor to approve those write-offs, and I would call for a vote. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We go on to the next one.
Following brief discussion with the committee's
Oh,
consensus to
retiree.
continue to have Chuck Leonard provide oversight, which we pretty much already discussed. Bringing us to Health Department retiree healthcare policy, to rescind 3.09.001 and authorize and rewrite two parts, effective immediately for new retirees, and B, changing the current retirees, I believe in 90 days was the allotted time. We found that the health department's current retiree healthcare policy did not match the county policy, which was, as Chairman Chaplin said, a surprise to us. There were different plans that were going on with the health policy. 36 retirees currently receiving health care at no cost to any of them. Of those, 15 should have been paying a portion to continue the coverage based on county policy, which indicates retirees' lifetime lifetime coverage is hired before January 1st, 1984, based on years of service and age. Those hired past January 1st, 1984 have coverage limited to years of coverage, not to exceed based on years of service and age too. 3 pre-1984 current retirees should have been paying 25% premium payment. 7 others should no longer be receiving health care and should have also been paying either 25 or 50%. 4 can maintain coverage of premium payment, with the final 9 maintaining 100% coverage. Long story short, these people are going to get letters to that effect. And I would interject that, in fact, they quite frankly receive benefits at low or no cost that they should not, had they been following county policy, had gotten. But that's, as they say, water under the bridge. Consequently, it was moved by Commissioner Savoy to rescind policy 3.09.001 and rewrite the policy to follow county policy, utilizing the pre- and post-January 1, 1984 eligibility requirement, and have that change effective in 60 days. That motion, though, died. It was then moved by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Jacqueline, to rescind policy 3.09.001 and rewrite the policy to follow county county policy utilizing pre and post January 1st, 1984 eligibility requirements and have the change effective in 90 days for current retirees. On a voice vote, that motion carried. There's an attached policy here if you would like to see it, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported, that the policy be changed, outlining everything that Commissioner Martin just spoke about. Anybody want to have anything to say or discussion?
Just want to mention, and I think it goes from all the commissioners, that it was not a decision that we arrived at easily. It was a lot of discussion and I guess consternation, just whatever. It was not, like I said, an easy decision to arrive at. But when you're $1 million in the hole and things have been apparently not followed as they should have been back to 1984, we have to do what's right for the county, and unfortunately we have to go down this road.
I would go a little bit further and say that I think this single policy change was probably the toughest vote I ever had to make. I hate it because these folks, they didn't do anything wrong, but they were getting benefits different from the rest of the county. And I can't justify there being two sets of retiree employees here who really don't have anything, who really should be treated the same. And it goes back to what I said a little while ago about how the health department was able to operate as their own little operation over there without a great deal of oversight. And I think we're finding now that there are some things that happened that we didn't know happened. We didn't know that they weren't adopting the exact same rules the rest of the county did for retirees and who was eligible. So, this stinks. I hate it. But I also know what we have to do. We have to bring it in line with the rest of the county employees. And I guess that's why we get paid the big money, to make these tough decisions. So.
I concur, because in my profession, I've been on the short end of exactly the same thing, and it stinks. Because you go in with it with an expectation and a promise, and then that promise gets broken, and I feel terrible about it. Because, like I said, I've been on the short end of this stick too. On a brighter note, though, this is supplemental. All these people are over 65, so it's not like they suddenly have no health care.
Right.
And I believe we were talking about a COBRA with this also, if they wanted to go that route. So I don't want the people to believe we're letting these people twist in the wind with no health insurance, because that's not the case. But but that's also like saying, it was a great flight except for the crash landing. I mean, the takeoff might be good, the flight might be good, but the landing stinks. It's not a great flight. And for these people, this is the crash landing, and they're just passengers, and it's not their fault. But we have to do what's best for the entire county and the entire health department, and we did. But it was not easy. I don't think anybody in here is happy with what we have in front of us, but we have to.
I'd like to say it's unfortunate. It affects real people and real lives, and I have some human compassion that this was allowed to occur. On the other point, they've received some benefits they weren't eligible for. It was brought to our attention. What do we say to the citizens if we don't make the correction, bring them in line with everyone else? Again, I'm sorry for those that had an impact with.
All right. So we do have a motion in front of us. We need to vote on it. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. The motion does carry, and we move on to the Health Department peak ribbon expenditure.
This will allow all donated funds for clients diagnosed with breast and/or cervical cancer requiring assistance with travel and lodging. Following an application for assistance and policy 1.99.013. great cause here. Consequently, moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to approve the pink ribbon expenditure of $2,808.47 as presented following policy 1.99-013. On a voice vote, that motion carried. And I would so move.
Motion made to approve that pink ribbon expenditure. In this case, it's $2,800.
Support.
Motion is supported. Discussion.
I guess, there's numbers of activities that happen in our community to help people who, end up with cancer. And this, I think, is an excellent program. The other one is, what's it called? The van.
Oh, the van.
Road to Recovery.
Road to Recovery.
I rode it for 4 or 5 months, and it was another free of charge by donations, and it's I guess reflects on our community that we care about people, and when you have to use that, it's really worthwhile and appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Back to you, Commissioner Martin.
Next, bumping rights. Administration is seeking to have a bumping rights policy approval that basically doesn't allow a non-union member or person who's not in the collective bargaining agreement bump a less senior employee just because they are in administration. This will clarify any past practices that may have transpired. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to approve the bumping rights policy 3.09.004 as presented. On a voice vote, motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported on the bumping right policy. Is there any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. That, I think, is the last of the health department issues in here. No, is there more?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where?
Oh,
Policy hospice.
well, I mean,
Oh, okay.
kind of.
Coming up.
But-
Well, since I'm talking, I just wanted to say that, we've got 2 administrators from the health department here, and I know you probably feel like you're on the receiving end of a lot of criticism, and I just want you to know that I think everybody here knows that you inherited most of this, and we know that, and we just need you to work with us and fix it.
I'd just like to add that you guys are, sorting through this very well with the help of Chuck and Kelly and our administrator. This has been tough, and I'm thoroughly impressed with what you've been able to accomplish in a short period of time.
Okay, back to you, Commissioner.
It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to approve change policy 8.03.005, the home health and hospice policy, to indicate number 9 under admission criteria to read: the patient must reside a minimum of 6 months within a geographic area that the EUP home health and hospice services works, provide services. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move. Also, you might want to see the attachment.
Support.
Motion made and supported. It's a minor change to the home health and hospice policy, just to indicate that patients need to be residents for a minimum of 6 months. And is there any discussion on the policy? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee, as governing body for Chippewa County Health Department, this goes into our changes with us basically being in charge of the health department, that we have to have someone who's a signer or signee on checks, and also we've got to verify this with our auditors. Consequently, moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackman, to authorize the County Treasurer Marjorie Hank and the County Clerk Kathy Malport as signers for the Chippewa County Health Department Central Savings Bank account as backup signers to Health Office Senkis,
Keep going up, page.
to Health Officers Senkis, that's a typo, Senkis and Deputy Health Officer Forrest. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there any discussion?
Just housekeeping.
All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee was asked to approve, authorize, and establish, should that be a special fund for medical marijuana grant in the amount of $8,203. The grant would be used for education of the Medical Marijuana Act. We discussed this and it sounds great. Our only issue, the sheriff answered with a subscription fee, which this year will be covered with a grant, and he says that it will be in the future also. And his word is good enough for me. Consequently, it was moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to forward to the full board to approve the medical marijuana grant in the amount of $8,203 and to establish a special fund upon clarification from the sheriff, which he gave us today. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there any discussion? I just want to make sure you understand what he said really was that if there's no grant, we don't have to renew it. And if you can't find any other alternative source of funds that we approve of, then he won't renew it. But, okay. Commissioner?
In our, we get the township, we belong to Michigan Township Association, and there was a lengthy article in that.
Saw that.
And by approving this, people might get the impression that the county board has some authority in this, the designation of marijuana distributors and so on and so forth. And that's completely wrong. It falls to the townships, and each individual township has to take action to allow it. Okay, and it's the kind of thing, they wrote it in the law that you have to say or pass a motion or resolution that you allow medical marijuana dispensers in your township.
Right.
So I don't want anybody to get the impression that we're in that business. I don't want to be in that business, and I don't think anybody else wants to be in that business. But just, and this is mainly an educational, money came back from the state to educate people relative to the new law, which takes effect at the end of this year.
And what this grant will actually fund is probably not really directly related to medical marijuana at all, yet it creates a iPhone app and an Android app that will allow better communication between the citizens and the sheriff's department. And it has some, it could be a real benefit to the community and to the sheriff's department and their enforcement activities. So, look forward to seeing it. And we're fortunate enough to have it paid for with a grant, so.
I'd like to add that when they rewrote this law and these funds became available, they made it only available to county sheriffs. They're the only law enforcement agency that can apply for it.
Thank you. All right, we have the motion before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Drug court service contracts from McLean Consulting and Great Lakes Recovery for services by October 1st, 2016, September 30th, 2017. Circuit Court Administrator Tina Ojala notified the committee of the two recent graduates of drug court, which was very good news. And Commissioner McLean wanted it brought to the forefront that he is not related to this McLean Consulting. So we'll clear your good name, Commissioner McLean. But anyhow, this is, I lost my place. Oh, there we go. It was, after all this discussion, moved by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to approve the service contracts from McLean Consulting in the amount of $39,200 to provide case management services to drug court and Great Lakes Recovery, in the amount of $16,950 to provide substance abuse-related counseling to participants of the drug court program, both covering the period October 1st, 2016 to September 30th, 2017. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we approve those contracts to support the drug court operation. Any questions, comments?
I'd just like to say that I'm very impressed that we have two graduates already from this program. It makes me feel like we did the right thing in helping get this drug court started.
Anyone else? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, Central Dispatch Instructor Coordinator Course for Chippewa County EMS. This would train experienced EMS personnel to instruct and pass their EMS knowledge and experience to residents of Chippewa County, help them become EMS professionals, and hopefully recruit additional responders. And we've talked many times about the shortage of people in the county as far as volunteer firemen and volunteer EMS people, and this is great. The cost of the course is $79.80, sponsored by Consolidated Community School Services. Student cost will be $200 per student. The balance being paid by Chippewa County OES monies. This expense is budgeted, so there's no new money being spent here. Great program by all appearances. It moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the instructor coordinated course at Chippewa County EMS to help recruit and promote additional responders. Total cost of the course is $7,980, with per student cost of $200, and the balance being paid through the Office of Emergency Services Fund 211. A voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion? Okay, great program. Hopefully we get more people trained. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Then the committee received requests from Information Systems to approve a service agreement from Five Star Armor to temporarily support the LEMS system with the Sheriff's Office during the gap if an issue arises while the county waits to go live with a new state system. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the Five Star Armor service agreement in the amount of $3,000 to support software and hardware from February 1st, 2017 to June 30th, 2017 to cover the gap until the county goes live with a new state system. And a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported. You want a glass of water or something? Motion made and supported to approve that contract with Five Star Armor Service, which we may or may not have to do, correct?
Right. Just if there's a gap.
Okay. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We then received information on property at 606 Eureka Street and 629 Magazine Street that have been condemned by City Commissioner in order to pay for demolition. Both properties will be foreclosed March 31st, 2017 if the taxes continue not be paid. Meeting with the city and county was held to come up with a cost-sharing resolution. The city would take these properties at first right of refusal, and the county would waive the minimum bid. Consequently, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to approve the 606 Eureka and 629 Magazine Street right of first refusal and waive the minimum bid by the county and grant it to the city so that the properties can be demolished. The most cost-effective resolution. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported that this condemned city property agreement with the city be approved. My understanding is Treasurer Hank did a great job in putting together something here that works for both parties. Yes. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We then discussed continuing to be a part of National Association of Counties, and we decided not to and saved the taxpayers $770. And Commissioner Shackleton was right, and we were wrong. You're welcome. Put that in the official records.
Yeah.
It's going in the minutes.
It's in the
I've
minutes.
already recorded it on my calendar.
Moving on to the next item, authorizing purchase policy waiver for budget items with the Sheriff Protective Technologies metal detectors, $10,990.98. Central Dispatch, APCO Advisor Software, $12,937.50. Probate Court, JAVS upgraded, $28,619.27. Probate Court Graphic Sciences Scanning Project, $21,000. Essentially, this is to make our people and our constituents safer in the courthouse, and really helps along that cause, although we know we have a long way to go. Am I missing something here?
Yeah, you get right down to the motion.
There was, no, I mean, I thought there was something else we talked about that,
Mainly the motion.
okay.
Although we are waiving the bidding process.
Yeah, so why we were waiving the bidding process, I couldn't remember why we were waiving it. There was a very good reason. Specialized equipment, okay, thank you. I just wanted that in the record as to why we waived that policy. All right. Consequently, after a discussion that this is definitely a great thing for the county and our safety of our employees and our citizens, it was moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the purchase of metal detectors from Protective Technologies at a cost of $10,999.98. Purchase of software from APCO Institute of $12,937.50 to upgrade the probate court JAV system, $28,619.27, and a probate court scanning project of $21,000. The first of a 3-year project, and to waive the county purchasing policy. On a voice vote, the motion carried. Now it's so moved.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there discussion?
Just want to mention that this is just for the courtroom. It's not going to be at the door of the courthouse or the county building. It's
courtrooms. Yep. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We also released quote specs for Central Dispatch Animal Control Vehicle Midsize SUV, a Sheriff Dodge Charger Police Package Automobile, a Sheriff Ford SUV Patrol Vehicle that would be, I guess, called an ATV or
All-terrain vehicle?
No.
SUV?
SUV, thank you,
Oh,
sir.
yeah, ATV is gonna be like a four-wheeler.
I knew Commissioner Savoy would know what it was. SUV. The committee received the RFQs, basically the specs for these to receive quotes. Moved by Commissioner Savoy, supported by Commissioner Egan, to approve the release of RFQs for two midsize SUVs, a Dodge Charger Police Package, and a Ford SUV Patrol Vehicle. On a voice vote, that motion carried. And I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we put out a request for quotations for those vehicles. Any discussion? Commissioner Martin?
Two midsize SUVs? Is that one for?
One of them's for animal control,
One
one's
for
for
central dispatch.
wait a minute, one's for central dispatch animal control, and the other one is for the sheriff's department,
Yeah, but
correct?
we've already got,
No?
it says Ford
Wait,
SUV.
Kelly, help me out.
Some,
Two mid-size SUVs, one for central dispatch and one for animal control, and then a Dodge Charger and a Ford SUV for the sheriff's.
okay,
Okay.
that's what I wanted to, okay. clarify.
Got it. Because the sheriff has to be a Ford SUV in order for it to be a police package and still be reasonably priced.
I wanna mention that for the animal control and the OES, 911 central dispatch, the vehicles that they're replacing have 180,000 miles on 180,000 plus.
Well,
So, that was in the information there, and I wanted to mention that. The other thing is that when we talked of vehicles for the sheriff's department, had we mentioned that we were considering only one police car, the one car and the SUV at one time in our discussions? Or is that just?
Yeah, one car and one SUV, yes, yes.
We had talked about that,
Yeah.
but we were gonna get bids and see what it looked like.
And bids included trade-ins, and I'm guessing on all four vehicles, bids include trade-ins?
Yep, it's in the RFQ.
we get both, yeah.
So,
So,
yep.
And the car was a Dodge Charger.
Yeah.
Dodge Charger, yeah.
Yep.
But I know we had talked about when we're converting to this SUV, there was talk that we would like to replace all of our sheriff's cars with SUVs. So and this is a trial one, the city police are having success with it, and we wanna try it out, but I remember there was something about the cost. If it was too expensive to get the two patrol cars, we were gonna get one, but be sure to get the SUV.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and address the sheriff on this. Mike, why are we getting one SUV and not two? We're getting one SUV and one Dodge Charger.
I was trying to save a little money. The Dodge Charger we put in for an all-wheel drive to help with the snow conditions.
Okay.
If you wanna go ahead and approve two SUVs, I would gladly take the Charger off the table.
Well, when you get back the bids, we'll see what the price is, right?
Alright.
So we could conceivably, when the prices come back, we could approve two SUVs and one Charger.
Okay.
But as the sheriff can recount for us, there was an instance this winter when they were saving a life and they needed a four-wheel drive. And
Well,
it was,
last night in the middle of the storm, we had a car stuck in the middle of 7 Mile Road,
yeah.
so.
I will say that this excites me. I live on Drummond Island. There are few roads that you can access on Drummond Island that a Dodge Charger is going to get down easily, except for the main roads. So,
All right, so we'll get the bids back and we'll decide then.
I thought the rationale, if I remember correctly, was because it's an experiment. What works well for the city police department may not work well for the county. So the SUV was the trial, and if he likes the way it works and they're happy with it,
Well,
does
I'll
it?
tell you, the state police, Sioux Tribe, Bay Mills, and the city all are going towards
SUVs.
SUVs.
Okay. All right, well, we'll let the bids out, see what the prices are when they come back and go from there. Or not bids, quotes, requests for quotations. All in favor of releasing those RFQs, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
It was claims and accounts, i.e. paying the bills. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Egan, to recommend the approval of December and January bills and payroll as follows. The general claims totaling $537, $523.65. Other fund claims of $640,169.38. Payroll of $1,078,144.90. Health Department January claims of $576,109. Total claims of $2,831,946.93. And vouchers H1 through H556. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we pay all the claims and vouchers and the bills. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We then had some comments about the Health Department and things going well and heading in the right direction, as well as can be expected. It was then moved by Commissioner Egan, supported by Commissioner Savoy, to adjourn, and we adjourned the meeting at 7:55 p.m. I would move that we accept the minutes as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported that we accept and the minutes of the accept and approve the minutes of the finance claims and accounts February 9th, 2017. Any discussion on the motion on the floor?
Yeah, I'd just like to say how impressed I am with how quickly our finance chair got through that, but also how quick Kathy Melport is over here. I don't know how she can keep up, so I'm thoroughly impressed.
We are blessed with good staff,
Yeah.
good people. I know Kelly was working on those minutes over the weekend in order to get them done and ready in front of us, so we thank everybody. Okay, motion before us to approve those minutes. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to commissioner reports and general comments. You wanna go first?
I just, again, wanna mention that finance meeting was probably the most difficult meeting that I've ever been in, plus the longest. And we were thorough. Unfortunately, I had to make those decisions.
Well, I just want to mention too, on the Sugar Island dog issue, I know that the animal control's been involved, the health department's been involved, the sheriff's department's been involved, but if I were them, I'd probably feel the exact same way. You're living a nice, quiet little existence over there in Sugar Island, enjoying your peace and quiet, and somebody brings in 15 or 20 dogs next door, and I don't know what we can do or how we can help them, but I wish we could. And I would ask Kelly to at least send like a memo or an update to the commissioners of the history of what we know so far on the issue, because I feel for them. My neighbor's got one dog. It kind of drives me crazy sometimes. So. Anyone else, Commissioner
Yeah,
Savoy?
I have an issue in my district I want to bring forward just to inform the commission and the public. And I'm not picking on anyone here, but I got received a call from Hulbert Township Supervisor Norman D. Long about 2 weeks ago. And I don't know if there's any truth. I can only convey what she's telling me, but she wants me to attend the Hulbert Township board meeting tomorrow night and place me on the agenda. She's saying that it's been well over a year that ex-Commissioner Rudy Johnson and current Commissioner Connor Egan had promised them that the county was going to build a multi-million-dollar ambulance building in Strong's area and staff it with full-time EMTs and paramedics. And it's been in excess of a year. They don't see any brick and mortar going up. And I feel like I'm being thrown under the bus. I'm going there. I wasn't a commissioner. I don't know if there's any promises or if anyone was misled, but I am going to attend that meeting tomorrow night. I'll do my best to inform them what our role is in county government, what our obligations are, what our mandates and essential services that we have to provide. Also going to try to educate them on what the role of the township and responsibilities are. Subsequently, I did get a letter in the mail the other day from Concerned Citizen, and same taxes as everyone else, and they get the same service as if you lived in the Sioux. They attached a evening news article that Scott Brand wrote last February, where there was I don't want to say a meeting, a workshop held at Ken Ross. As sheriff, I did attend that. The thing fizzled out, and they want to know what I'm going to do about it to provide their service and uphold their commitments.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was at that meeting, and there were no promises made of building anything. It was pointed out very clearly how much money it would cost to do that, and what they had to do as townships to form a group and start moving on this. They tried that, and I don't think it has progressed very far. Missy, that's sort of a subcommittee of 911.
Yeah, they started an association, and they had a real strong showing for the first meeting. And then every meeting, I mean, there's been a few of us that have been at every meeting, but
Um,
it's just visible.
Well, let me
Yeah.
just throw in that I was at that meeting.
Yeah.
And certainly this is not a new issue to me either, but you know, what was said in private, I have no idea. Certainly at that meeting, there was I think what I came away from that meeting finding was that everybody was concerned about the future, but everybody was pretty much satisfied with how things were now, except for a couple townships. And coincidentally, those townships were the only townships that did not assess an ambulance millage in their townships. That's what I came away with, and maybe that was my impression anyway when I left that meeting. Anyone
Yes.
else?
Just a response. We did look into all of it. We wanted to make sure that there wasn't some way to better services or make sure that future services were maintained at the level they are now. We went to the hospital. We went to former OES chair Frank Sasso and a couple other people and made sure that we got the reports and due diligence on why they set it up the way they set it up. And the subcommittee was formed. I didn't have any contact with it after that. But, you know, we looked at this the best way we could. And to my knowledge, no promises were made on brick and mortar or full-time positions. It was discussed whether full-time positions could be maintained and if it would actually result in better services, and it was concluded that there is no way to maintain full-time staff and have them be able to get the level of service that volunteers are doing right now.
Again, unfortunately, I learned first couple of years as a commissioner that it's all about the money. And this was something that was cost prohibitive to even, I mean, it's nice to consider it, but when you start talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to keep the system up running, it'd be nice to have that, but it just isn't possible. So could I just mention about the
Go ahead.
Sugar Island situation
Yeah,
also?
go ahead.
I've been in contact with the people from Sugar Island, and I don't know, we're caught between a rock and a hard spot here. It's a township responsibility to pass ordinances regulating dogs. Now, they relayed to me a lot of information relative to that about how the dogs were chained to trees, and they only could run around in a circle, and they didn't have water sometimes, and if they're tied to a tree and they can only run so long, if they have to take care of their bodily functions, that's where it's gonna end up. And the snow and so on and so forth, and I asked them to bring some pictures. I said, if it's that bad, take some pictures, bring them over so we can see what you're talking about. But again, as a county, we don't have a lot of impact on that aside from sending the animal control people over to inspect it, and they did that, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, now they went during the summer, did they go during the winter?
I can say, since you've asked Commissioner McLean, that Holly, who is probably one of the best animal control officers that this county has ever seen, and very well respected, has gone out there numerous times. The health department has gone out there numerous times. Holly's job is to check on the dogs and that they're being treated that she did, and that's her job. The health department went out there to make sure about different levels and making sure the place was safe and healthy for humans. They did that. Then the people on Sugar Island went to the Department of Agriculture, I understand. I don't know if they've been up here yet. It is fully a township issue, and the only way, unfortunately, because I do feel bad for the people, but if you want to change something on Sugar Island and your government's not reacting, then you have to start looking at running for office and replacing your government, because this is a township issue.
Answer that.
My comments were gonna be along those lines. You know, I live on an island as well. We don't have any zoning. That makes me actively participate in my local government to make sure I don't have somebody move in next door to me and create a paper company that is polluting my water, or something like that. This is a local government issue, and you have to be a participant in local government in order to reap the benefits of it. And Sugar Island is one of those places that it's a small community. If you get together and if you participate, I'm sure that there's a way that they could come to some kind of agreement with this.
Well, again, if I were them, I would probably be just as frustrated, and I wish there was more we could do. And I don't know if from everything I've heard, prior to this evening's discussion, is that we've done everything we can do, but I don't know.
Well, based on what you said, they're violating state law. If they don't have kennels there, if they're over 3 dogs, also, are all 20 of those dogs licensed?
The licensing process has been going on, as well as the spade and neutering, and the people on the property have been very good in working with Holly at a very quick pace to make sure that they are all up to date on what they have to do. Would you say that's correct, Kelly?
Yeah, they got them all up to date on their shots a year ago. He's always, he's put up new fencing, he's put up the barrels that the dogs now sleep in. He's limited to his resources too, but he has always been very good to work with. If Polly says, this is a problem, he does correct it. He can't get a kennel license, and I don't think he's eligible for the kennel license yet based on the criteria.
The other thing that plays into this is they're supposedly wolf dogs, which, the other thing is that I believe the fellow is a Native American. So I don't know how all that plays into it. So
The wolf dog issue was brought up in the DNR maybe a year or 2 ago. Am I correct, Kelly?
It was a couple of years ago that the DNR got involved because of that article that went out that said they were wolf hybrid. I can try to see if Holly has any background on that visit. That was maybe even more than 2 years ago when that first came out.
Same person though?
See, and the thing is, he moved from one place on the island to another place on the island. And it's just very complex and convoluted.
And anytime that there's animals involved, it runs high on the emotional spectrum.
Bottom line, if there is any state laws broken, the prosecutor obviously, from what they're telling us, declined prosecution, so there's not a whole lot else you can do.
There were a couple things that I wanted to.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me just finish that. But the prosecutor would need a complaint brought forward from a police agency, wouldn't they?
Yes, it would.
Yeah, so if you had sheriff or state police or some entity,
I'm assuming that was done because she made the statement that
yeah.
it was
Prosecutor.
Okay,
declined.
okay, yeah. Commissioner Martin?
Just very quickly on the organ transplant thing, I talked to someone actually after the meeting, and people in Chippewa County do donate organs. It's just that when they get to that point, they're usually moved to Traverse City or Petoskey or Marquette, and therefore those hospitals get credit for the organ transplant, not our hospital. And we're in compliance.
Ask
Correct.
Lana about the Gift for Life. She has talked to Dr. Harlan
Commissioner?
I just gotta talk to Kelly when we're done.
Okay. Are we ready to adjourn, gentlemen?
I'll move that we adjourn.
I will support.
Motion made and supported that we adjourn. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. This meeting is adjourned.
John Island had a vote come up in the township board, and we're gonna do zoning. And it was voted down by your small